this standing fan needs a little bit of service. Yes, it's a fan. I just removed the grill and the blade locking nut and everything else that's kinda in the way already. Either which way, the shaft turns, but it's hard to turn it. It needs a little cleaning and TLC, I guess. And if I switch it on, it's buzzing all right, but it's not quite spinning the blade or the shaft in it. So I'm gonna dig it out and clean it, because they suck in a lot of dirt, clogs the motor windings inside, and it needs to be cleaned every so often. So I'll show you how this is done. After loosening these 4 screws, the plastic comes away, and of course this one is just crimps or clips in place with the faceplate through these tabs, of course. And once the plastic is away, you have access to the motor. The motor halves are mounted together with 4 additional bolts that look like this, with small washers with them, and these bolts came out from the 4 corners here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 8 bolts down the road. These 2 halves, the 2 motor halves, almost come apart, except that the back can't move back because the front is held in place by it's a pivot point, so that's not coming apart. And to slide the back out, I would need to undo this one more screw there. That's when the 2 halves can slide apart. So I'm gonna do that. Yeah, it didn't come apart the way I thought it would. It's still connected here as well as there, but there were 3 small screws in this one there, and the third one there in that corner. So it came off at this one, and then I could pull it off, and then the core comes apart where this would be the stator, that would be the rotor. Either which way, this one runs on 2 bearings. One surface is there and the other surface is there. The bearings are not high-tech bearings, and you can see there's some crud on it. It's not deformed in any other way or gouged out or damaged, but this little sticky stuff on it makes it stick into the bearing there. It's just very straightforward, simple bearing. It's just a bushing. It's that type of a bearing, so it doesn't there, and it's not really freely rotating, so that crud needs to be cleaned up there, and the same over here, because the same type of bearing repeats at the tail end of things, so all that needs to be cleaned out and re-lubricated with something that's not cruddy and saturated with dirt. Super straightforward. So bust out the lacquer thinner, solvent or whatever, and just clean it up, wipe it off. Very straightforward. And about 50 seconds later, we've got a perfectly clean shaft here that goes through its own bushing. The bushing is kind of set this way so that it allows movement sideways like so, and perfect alignment of the bushing at the back, the bushing at the front, and so that there is even and enough clearance between the stator and the rotor. So that's how it looks like when it's flawless. I of course cleaned the other half as well, and there it should be top-notch fan spinning with lowest amount of resistance. It just needs one little pinky touch of grease here and there, and put it back together. Jolly good. And about 1 minute later we have everything cleaned, lubricated and assembled, and the rotor shaft is spinning effortlessly as it should. Now actually it wasn't 1 minute, it was more like 45 because I put the core on backwards. You can see this is the direction of spin on the rotor shaft here, and if you put the core on backwards this way, then it's gonna spin backwards when you put the blade on. And I didn't look at it, and I found it when the blade is mounted that it wasn't blowing air, it wasn't quite sucking air, so it just sucked. So anyhow, take it all apart and flip it around. To save you the 45 minutes, you might want to write top on it or something identified for yourself so you don't put it on backwards. Stupid thing. And of course it's the part's fault. So that's the direction of rotation, the way it's gonna work. And then I'll show you how this plastic halves snap together. Very straightforward. And that one goes there, and that one goes there, and it's a little finicky because the plastic is so soft. Soft is good, you know. If it was brittle, that would be a problem. But this one just snaps together. Kinda. But thereabouts. But there. Alright. And there. One corner, 2, 3, 4. Alright, now we have it. Alright. Grab the screwdriver and put these 4 bolts back on. Okay, you can imagine how it's done. And this little thing that goes in top also mounts with a screw. Very straightforward. Just needs to be there. Just needs to be screwed in lightly, just about like so. And when it's all together, let me just get these ones in. Then the grill goes on it, and the grill has a lock nut. That lock nut turns clockwise. The grill mounts with these tabs. There's 2 up top, and that one down there, the 3rd one. And on the grill you can find the matching cutouts. There. Here's the grill. These are the cutouts, 2 up top, 1 on the bottom. Very straightforward here. And then the lock nut that goes clockwise, like so. There, and then put the blade on. I just washed it. I hate flame blades that are dirty. And then lastly, the lock nut. Well, this one is labeled loosen whatever direction. From this view it's clockwise, so that's gonna mean that it tightens the other way around. But you can also see that how the thread is cut on this one. It's cut in this direction, so there it tightens this way, just like so. There, and it should blow me away now. So far so good. Oh yeah. There. It's blowing the correct way now. Ta-da! Fixing done.